Welcome to the Don't Get Fooled Show with Big Green Ace, college football bowl games. Let's go, Ace.
All right, boys and girls, we got the bowl game special. I know a lot of people have been asking about the bowl game, so bowl season is here. Kind of bittersweet, you know, the season is over.
For sure.
But it's always good to round off the season with bowl games. But to be perfectly honest, the bowl season just feels different. It feels different over the last, say, 2-3 seasons where you got all this transfer portal nonsense and people are not even playing in the games because they're already saying, I'm going to transfer here, or I'm entering the portal. You got coaches flipping left and right. Unbelievable how many coaches are leaving, people that are just sitting out because they're going to the draft. It's kind of, it's kind of disappointing. I mean, Big Ree, what do you think? I mean, how do you feel about bowl season?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the transfer portal is pretty much free agency now. That's like, oh, hey, I'm a free agent. Where am I gonna go?
Yep.
And coaches are leaving. And as I was doing my research for the bowl games, it's like I was looking at one of our bowl games. I'm like, why is Duke +8? And I figured their quarterback is transferring.
Yeah.
And it's like so much you have to do on these games. It's so difficult. And you got to do a lot of research. It's more like, it's just, and then the coach is leaving. It's just like, what can you do? I mean, that's going to happen. A coach gets a job, he's going to take it.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, all this other nonsense of players leaving, coaches leaving, that's one aspect. But I think the bigger aspect is like the bowl season. Everybody used to look forward to the bowls. The bowls were like a team that just wanted to get bowl eligible, try to get a bowl win, go to some cool bowl. And now it feels different. I mean, obviously, I think the New Year's bowls and all the bigger bowls are still exciting. So a lot of the teams are still playing and they're still exciting, right? There's a lot of good matchups that you normally wouldn't see during the regular season, but it's just disappointing. It's just not the difference. And I think, but I mean, I guess these are some of the ramifications of starting to allow players to get NIL and get paid.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff happens. This is part of but I feel like the NCAA needs to step in here, maybe set a deadline, almost like NBA free agency, where you cannot sign as a coach with another school, with a new school until this date. Make it after the bowls. And have some rules in place to not make this a complete joke.
Yeah, for sure.
It's starting to become a big joke. And I hope that they fix this. And it's kind of almost like college basketball. Once they had like the high school players allowed to go and you can just skip, college basketball became a joke as well. And so hopefully that doesn't happen here where it's just the college is just going downhill. College football is going downhill. But anyhow, that's just my 2 cents. I'm still excited. A lot of, probably basically after Christmas, there's a whole slate of games. So we're going to be basically doing 2 episodes, boys and girls. So this is going to be 1 episode. We're going to go through all the games up until, December 27th. And then that's going to be a Wednesday, December 27th. After that, we're going to have another episode, and that episode 2 is going to drop on Wednesday, December 27th, just coincidentally. And so we'll have 2 episodes, and it's going to be a lot of games. That's why we're breaking it up to 2. So, yeah, super excited. Big, anything you want to throw in before we get into the docket?
No, just good luck, everyone, and let's get it.
All right, boys and girls. Here we go, boys and girls. Aquí vamos, chicos y chicas. Let's go. All right, game 1. We got New Mexico State versus Fresno State. This is being played in the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl in Albuquerque, New Mexico, University Stadium. On a quick note, aren't you going to New Mexico? Isn't there some plan for you to be going to New Mexico in the next year?
Yeah.
Damn,
I think I drove by New Mexico State once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, New Mexico State is a 3.5-point favorite here. Big Ree, what do you think on this game?
New Mexico State these are 2 really bad teams here. Obviously, when New Mexico State is favorites, we got something wrong here.
New Mexico's 10-4 though, bro. They're 10-4.
They don't play any good teams. I'm mixing it up with New Mexico.
New Mexico is a bad team.
Yeah, okay, but Fresno State is a solid team too, but I think I'm gonna roll with New Mexico State here. I'm gonna swallow the 3.5. And in college, it's hard to buy points on some sites, so I would buy the half point if you can, but I'm gonna swallow the 3.5.
So you're taking New Mexico 3.5. Let's go into New Mexico 8-1 in their last 9 games, so they're playing really good. They're two of their losses are to Liberty, who's undefeated, and they have a nice matchup with Oregon. And so they played well against Liberty. It's not like they got blown out. They played well against them. You got Fresno State, who's 0-3, in their last games, after an 8-1 start. So they started 8-1, and now they're 8-4. And my thought here is that, look, New Mexico State, for being 10-4, great season for them. They're obviously in their hometown, so they'll have the home crowd on their favor. And I think they're a real good team. I think Fresno State started off on fire, but started to regress. They got some quarterback issues as well. And when you got a quarterback issue in a bowl game, that's a problem when you're going up against a hungry team. And so I'm going to agree with you, Big Ree. I'm going to take New Mexico -3, New Mexico State -3.5. All right. Game 2, we got UCLA Bruins versus Boise State. This game is the Starco Brands LA Bowl being played at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. UCLA is a 4-point favorite. Big Ree, first, before we get into this game, do you have any potential or to be going to this game? It's right down the road.
I mean,
tickets got to be pretty cheap, I'm sure, right?
Sure.
I mean, who's too excited about this game? So, I mean, if you could get in for like $20, would you go?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. All right, so UCLA 7-5 and Boise State 8-5. Big Ree, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, UCLA opened at 1, jumped to 4, so that's definitely something telling you there. And Boise State wasn't too bad this season. They weren't too great. Same with but UCLA looked pretty solid. Obviously, they closed the season out. They beat USC. They gave USC a beatdown, and I think I'm going to roll with UCLA here. They have a solid defense. Their offense isn't that great, but I think it's a low-scoring game, and UCLA wins by a touchdown pretty easily.
Okay, so you like UCLA here. I mean, look, UCLA, I think this game, it opened at 1. It did jump because the main news was that Boise State quarterback Green is transferring to Arkansas. So that's a big deal. Arkansas obviously ended the season on a 4-game winning streak. UCLA, I mean, they started off pretty well. Their defense was looking good during the season. Same thing, quarterback issues. Dante Moore entered the portal. So they got some quarterback issues. They do have the home field, so that means something. But this should be a pretty good game. Boise State always comes to play, and I would give Boise State the BOD or on just the benefit of the backup QBs. They both are going to be playing with backup QBs, and I think this is just 4 points is just too much to give Boise State for a team where bowl games matter to them more than they give. UCLA wins this bowl game, okay.
Yeah.
It's nice, but I think 4 is too much. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Big Ree, and I'm taking Boise State +4. All right, game 3. We got Troy at Duke. This is the 76 Birmingham Bowl playing at Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. Troy is a 7.5-point favorite here. Troy's 11-2, Big Ree, and and Duke is 7-5. Troy, real quickly, their coach has jumped ship and he's going to Tulane. Tulane lost their coach to Houston, so like I said, coaching carousel going on there. They still have their running back Vidal. That guy's a beast for Troy. And then Duke, look, Leonard, the quarterback, he was injured obviously in the second part of the season, but he's transferring to Notre Dame. And so Troy, 11-2, they're coming off their conference championship. What do you think, Big Ree?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Obviously, Duke losing their quarterback is a big deal to Notre Dame. And Troy had the better season, of course, as you mentioned. I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think I'm going to go with Duke +8 here. You get a whole touchdown, or +7.5. You get a whole touchdown for comfort there. Troy wins even by a touchdown. I think Troy wins by 4 to 6, I'd say. I think I really like Duke here +7.5, even without the quarterback.
So you're gonna roll with Duke. You think that you like that touchdown spread. One thing that I've learned is that touchdown 7.5 spread is one of the most trickiest spreads out there. And so I think that's a big indicator right there. That's trying to fool everybody that's interested in Duke. I just think Troy, regardless of the coach leaving, the team is still really good. I think Duke doesn't give a crap about this game. I wasn't high on Duke during the season. I think the running back Vidal is just a complete stud for Troy. And even if it's at 7.5, I still like Troy. I think they win easy. And I'm going to disagree with you again, Big Ree. I'm taking Troy -7.5, but hopefully it's a good game. I'm hoping a good game because Duke is one of those teams that, they haven't won many bowl games in the last 15 years, so they do want to get a win. Let's get into Game 4. We got James Madison versus Air Force in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. This game is being played at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. James Madison, a 3-point favorite here. James Madison, 11-1. Quick notes on the James Madison. Their coach jumped ship after 2 good seasons. He jumped ship to Indiana. The quarterback for James Madison has entered the portal. McLeod has entered the portal. This is his second time in the portal. Then we got Air Force, who is 8-0. They started the season 8-0, and then they lost the last four straight. And Air Force, 8-4. What do you think, Big Ree?
Yeah, I don't know. Another tough one here. But no, I think James Madison is the better team here. I think they cover pretty easily. Air Force does have a good defense and keeps it low scoring, but I think James Madison covers here pretty easily.
And so you like James Madison to cover the -3.
Yeah.
This is set up to be a good game. Obviously, James Madison initially wasn't going to be bowl eligible, but they were called upon to get into a bowl, so they are going to play. Air Force, like I said, they started off really well. Then they had some QB issues, things like that. They ended the season on a 4-game losing streak. But the big thing here is Air Force plays really well in their bowl games. They play really well in their bowl games, and James Madison is losing their QB, who played lights out. Obviously, they still got a lot of talent, but their backups haven't played much at all, so we really don't know what we're going to see from the backups. But I just think that this is going to be a good game, and I see Air Force playing well here. And so as much as if James Madison had their QB healthy and playing, I would probably take James Madison here. But because he's out, I don't know I just can't trust the backup at all. And so I'm going to disagree with you again, Big Ree. I like Air Force +3, boys and girls. All right. Game 5 on the docket. We got Kansas versus UNLV. This is the Guaranteed Rate Bowl being played at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Kansas is a 12.5-point favorite here. Kansas, they are 8-4, 4-2 in the 6 starts with quarterback Jason Bean, and then UNLV is 9-4. They started off 9-2, and then they lost the last two games. What do you think, Big Ree?
Yeah, this one is either going to be a complete blowout by 20+, or UNLV is going to keep it close. But I think UNLV obviously has home field somewhat, but I think Kansas is going to blow them out and give them the works. I'm going to swallow the 12.5 here and take Kansas.
Ooh, so you're taking Kansas 12.5. You think they?
I think they're going to blow them out bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, look, Kansas 8-4. They got the quarterback Jason Bean, who honestly has played better than Daniels. Right? Daniels was the starter, then he went out, then Bean came in during the Texas game. He's been playing good. He's obviously a dual threat QB. They're 4-2 in his 6 starts. They still have running back Devin Neal, who's playing really good. And then you got UNLV, as I stated, lost their last 2 of the season, but they are 9-4. Good season for them. High-powered offense for UNLV, but just a bad defense. Their defense is not good. And my thoughts here are, I think they keep this game close, and then Kansas kind of puts on the medal and ends up putting up some points in the 3rd and 4th quarter and wins by double digits. And I'm going to agree with you, Big Ree, on this one. I like Kansas to cover, and I'm taking Kansas minus 12.5. All right, Game 6 on the docket, Big Ree. We got Virginia Tech versus Tulane in the Military Bowl presented by GoBowling.com. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. Virginia Tech is an 8-point favorite. Big Ree, what do you think here?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, Tulane had a so-so season, right? They weren't great. They weren't bad, right?
11-2, Big Ree.
That's why I was. We're having a lot of transfers here again, or I didn't. But this one's going to be good. I mean, I think VTech, they didn't have a good season, as if I remember.
6-6, yeah, just an average.
I don't know why. That's what I was like. Why are they that favorite? And then I had to look at this multiple lines, but I think Tulane, they have a good program and they're on the rise, and VTech is on the decline. So I'm going to take the plus 8.5 here. I'm going to go with Tulane here. I just am not buying VTech at all.
Okay, so you're going with Tulane plus 8. I mean, look, VTech 6-6, but they did end the season 5-3. After a 1-3 start. They did lose to good teams, Louisville and Florida State, and NC State. So their losses are to good teams. Obviously, the quarterback Kyron Drones has been playing well since he got inserted. And then Tulane, 11-2, obviously coming off a big win in the bowl game last year versus USC. And then, they made it to the conference. They were 11-1, made it to the conference championship, lost to SMU 26-12, 26-14. And so, look, they're a good team. I mean, their running back, Michael Hughes, legit. Michael Pratt, Mekhi Hughes, that guy's legit, the running back. Michael Pratt, the quarterback. He's been playing all right, but Tulane just doesn't look the same that they were from last year. They lost Tyjae Spears, and they played well, but they didn't end well, right? And so it is weird. Obviously, I said their coach left. And so obviously 8 points is a lot for VTech to be a favorite here. But look, I think VTech's a good team, and I think this is going to be a good game. I just think 8 points is too much. I mean, VTech probably should win this game, but I think 8 points is too much. I think Tulane is still going to play hard. And like you said, VTech 6-6 on the year, right? And so I'm going to agree with you here, Big Ree. I'm going to go with Tulane plus 8. And so, all right, Game 7 on the docket. We got Louisville 10-3 versus USC 7-5. This game is the DirecTV Holiday Bowl being played at Petco Park in San Diego, California. That's, if I'm correct, that's the San Diego Padres Stadium.
Yeah, correct.
And Louisville is a 7.5 point favorite. All right, Big Ree, what do you, before I get into this, Louisville's 10-3. They were 10-1, and then they lost their last 2 straight. They lost 16-6 in the conference championship game to Florida State. USC, 7-5. They started 6-0, ended 1-5. And big news out of it, USC is Caleb Williams, former Heisman Trophy winner from last year, is not playing in this game. What do you think, Big Ree?
Yeah, obviously the big news is Caleb Williams is not playing. That definitely going to move the spread. And, I mean, USC just ended the season awful, as you mentioned, just losing every game. And even the one game they won, it was 50-49 to Cal. Like, giving 49 points to Cal is ridiculous.
Yep.
And their defense is atrocious. Obviously, they hired their new coordinator. But I think this is going to be Louisville's game. They put up a fight versus Florida State, as you mentioned, but I think Louisville's a better team here. And like you mentioned, some teams, the bowl game means a lot. And like USC's been there, done that. They've won bowl games. Louisville, it means a lot more. And I think Louisville covers. And as you mentioned, the 7.5 is the tricky one. Like everyone's going to be like, oh, USC plus 7.5. This is easy here. I'm taking it. So I'm going to swallow the 7.5 here, and I'm going to take Louisville minus 7.5.
So you're going to take Louisville minus 7.5. I mean, look, this is going to be about an hour and a half drive from USC campus in, Petco Park in San Diego. It's going to be heavily favored by the Trojan fan base. I think just to touch on USC 7-5, they started 6-0 and then just went downhill. My major takeaway from the USC season, obviously I don't need to talk about USC defense sucks. I don't need to talk about that. Everybody knows that. That's just a given. I don't need to talk about, I should talk about a little about Lincoln Riley. I've been saying this guy's overrated. I've been saying this for a while that he didn't prove me anything at Oklahoma. Then he got paid by SC. And I get what SC is doing, so I don't blame them for that hire. But he hasn't shown enough, and he hasn't shown that he's able to understand that you need to have two sides of the ball. You can't just have a high-powered offense and then your defense completely sucks. And he's been a coach for, 5 or 6 years now?
Yeah. And
has never focused on defense.
Yeah, facts.
Never focused. And it's really sad that he keeps bringing his boys as coordinators and they suck. And but I'm not even going to talk about Lincoln Riley that much. Like, he doesn't even deserve me to talk about more than that for him. But I really want to talk about Caleb Williams, right? Caleb Williams, I feel like I blame a lot of the season on Caleb Williams. This horrible. You know why? Because Caleb Williams is a Heisman Trophy winner, high caliber, generational talent, and I think after winning the Heisman and drinking his own Kool-Aid, and he's a great player. I think he should be the number one pick in the NFL draft. But I think Caleb made a business decision that he's going to play this season, but he's going to do whatever he can not to get hurt. And what that meant was he was going to stop trying to run the ball. And that's what made him such a threat, that he could pass the ball 60 yards, home run touchdowns, or he could just start taking off and running. And he didn't do that this year. I think the last couple years he had about 500 yards on the ground. This year he had 132. And I think and I understand he's protecting himself. That's where he can get injured. Yeah. He starts running and someone takes a shot at him when he's sliding or getting out. And so I get it, but I think that was a big problem with SC as well, that he wasn't as a dual threat as he was the last 2 years with Oklahoma and then SC, and teams picked up on that and they were able to game plan around that. I think that aspect of his game cost SC maybe 2 or 3 wins. They're not going undefeated because their defense is so bad, but that probably cost them 2 wins. They could have been 9-3 or maybe 10-2. But anyhow, they weren't going to the CFP. They weren't doing anything. Their defense is horrible. But I'm going to agree with you, Big Ree. I think this is going to be a pretty good game at first, but I just think Louisville pulls away here. And regardless, look, and so I'm taking Louisville minus 7.5. All right, game 8 on the docket, boys and girls. We got Texas A&M versus Oklahoma State. This game is the Tax Act Texas Bowl being played at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. Texas A&M is a 3-point favorite, Big Ree. First of all, do you know where NRG Stadium is?
Houston, you just said it, right?
I know, but is that the Texan Stadium?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so that is the Texan Stadium. Because I just read that I think there's the Super Bowl going to be playing? No, not the Super Bowl. The national championship game is being played over here.
Is it?
At NRG Stadium, I believe so. But I'm not sure. I think I read that. But anyhow, that could be the Texan Stadium, NRG?
It is the Texan Stadium.
Okay. All right, so we got Texas A&M 7-5, and then we got Oklahoma State 9-4. They're coming off a conference championship loss to Texas where they lost 49-21. Big Ree, what do you think here?
Yeah, obviously you mentioned Oklahoma State got blown out by Texas. I think a lot of people expected that, but Texas A&M is a good program too, but I think Oklahoma State is the better program here, and Texas A&M has been so-so, but Oklahoma State, same with Oklahoma State kind of this year, and they kind of just got into the championship, but I think I'm going to go with Oklahoma State here.
You're going to roll with Oklahoma State +3 here.
Yeah.
Well, look, Texas A&M 7-5. I think they're a much better team that their record shows. They had a really tough schedule. I mean, look, they played Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, and they were all close games. So they did not get blown out. They were all close games. I think getting rid of Jimbo Fisher is a positive for the football team. So that guy, just another joke of a guy that kind of, what's the best way to say it? I think he just, he sold himself on this job and was able to get himself in a position to get, $100 million guaranteed money?
This is crazy.
$76 million buyout? What a joke. But, good for him. He got paid. Congratulations, Jimbo. Retire. Just stay away from football. Keep your $76 million, and that's it. Retire in the sunset. That's it. And Oklahoma State, look, like I said, they got blown out by Texas. You think they're not a good team, honestly. They put together some good wins and in a crappy conference, but they're not a good team. And I think this is probably one of the easiest games on our docket this week. I think do not get fooled. I think Texas A&M wins heavy. I think this is maybe a 15 to 20 point win. This is my lock one of my locks of the week. Do not get fooled. I really like Texas A&M, and so I'm taking Texas A&M -3. All right, the last game on the docket for the bowl game episode 1, we got Arizona, number 14 Arizona versus number 12 Oklahoma, the Valero Alamo Bowl. This game is being played at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Arizona is a 3-point favorite. Arizona 9-3 on a 6-game winning streak. Their three losses, 2 were in overtime, and 1 was a 7-point loss to undefeated Washington. And then we got, Oklahoma 10-2, 3-game winning streak, coming off a 69-45 win versus TCU. Their 2 losses on the season, 38-33 to Kansas and 27-24 to Oklahoma State. They did have a 34-30 win versus Texas, who was in the CFP. All right, Big Ree, what do you think here?
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. As you have been saying all season long, Arizona has been looking good and on uptrends, and they're a program that's on the rise. Oklahoma did good too this season, but at the end of the day, I think Oklahoma kind of technically has home field because it's in San Antonio, maybe closer,
yeah.
But I really like Arizona here. I think they cover and win by a touchdown. They're on the uprise, and I think Oklahoma does. Their defense always sucks and has sucked, even when Lincoln Riley was there. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I like Arizona -3.
Okay, look, this should be set out to be a good game. Obviously, Arizona, they want to ride this winning streak, their 6-game winning streak. They want to make it 7. Noah Fafita, 73% completion, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions only. Balanced team. They got a solid defense also. It's not just their offense. Oklahoma, they had the big win versus Texas. Obviously, big news out of Oklahoma. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel has entered the transfer portal, is transferring to Oregon. So he will not be playing in this game. They have a lot more transfers also, running back and O-line. This is another one of my locks, boys and girls. Do not get fooled. This is one of the easiest picks of bowl game season. I'm taking Arizona -3. It's going to be a juicy bowl season, so stay tuned for episode 2 that will drop on December 27th. And they'll have another slate of about 8 games, and it should be a juicy bowl season. Anything else, Big Ree?
That's it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Peace out, guys.